Welcome to Hanging Out with the Monkey, the official podcast of OddsMonkey, the number one match betting service in the world. Thanks for joining us again. It's great to have all our regular listeners back, and for any newbies, we're delighted to have you on board. We hope to give you a few nice little tips on the way and point you in the right direction when it comes to match betting. So first of all, let's give you a little treat for all the podcast listeners. If you haven't tried OddsMonkey Premium yet, we're giving you a chance to try it out for 10 full days for just £1. When you go to your login screen, just type in pod offer, POD or FFER. That gives you a chance to try out everything great, all the little things we've got going on at OddsMonkey, all the guides, all the tills. It's a fantastic service, and you can try it out for 10 days for just £1. So joining me today, delighted to welcome back Steve from OddsMonkey.
Hi Graeme, how are we doing?
Not bad, thank you, Steve. And Phil from Tricky Bet.
Hello.
Right, guys, so today's episode, we're focusing mainly on the Open, the number one golf tournament in the world. That begins next week in Port Russian Island. So we'll be taking a look at that. We'll also be breezing over the British Grand Prix this weekend, and we've got the Netball World Cup also in England. We'll be taking a quick look at that as it's a flavour of the month at the minute. And we'll also be taking maybe a glance to see what's going on at Wimbledon as it gets towards the finals, and the Cricket World Cup as well. So plenty to talk about today. But first, we're on to the 148th edition of the Open. And the first time back in Ireland since 1950s is Portrush is the host. So guys, the last major of the year and probably the last major golfing match betting opportunity. But again, it's a bit early to talk about what's around, isn't it, Steve? But there's a few offers bubbling away already.
Yeah, I mean, having to really have a look back at last year. This year, the extra places seem to be filtering through. But what I'm really hoping for is something similar to what Betway offered last year, where you could place a pre-tournament bet on the outright winner, and if the player you backed was the leader at the end of any round, you would get paid out as a win, even if your bet went on to lose. So that was a really good offer last year. Hopefully that'll be back, but we'll find out as the event gets closer.
Yeah, Phil, obviously, as Steve alluded to there, we've got a few bookies that are already going 10 places. And just, obviously, we've got the odds match on the site. How does extra places impact on us when it comes to match betting, basically?
So we've got the extra place matcher, and that's going to allow us to lock in a profit if our selection comes in one of those extra places. So already we've got Sky Bet, Betfair, and Paddy Power doing 10 places on the Open, and standard places are probably going to be 5. So you've got 5 extra places there. So you can back and lay your player, and if your player comes in one of those extra places, you will win. You will win the each way part of the back bet and your lay bet as well. So there's some really big payouts potentially on these extra places on golf, but you do need a lot of liability. But if you look on the extra place matcher, it'll tell you how much liability you need for each one of these bets. So you do need a big bank for them, but they can pay out massively. And hopefully we're going to be able to combine that with a couple of offers that were on last year. So we're doing free bet if you were second or third, so that wouldn't trigger an extra place, but it's like just 2 more places you can potentially get some money back on. So there's a few ways to do the golf, but extra places is definitely one of the most profitable.
Yeah, I'd say it's one to watch out for. And obviously the guides are all there. The forum's there as well, isn't it? Lots of people talking about it. So we're hoping, aren't we, over the next few days we'll have a bit more on offer. Well, I'm hoping Boyle Sport do a bit more, with it being on Irish soil, with Rory McIlroy being favourite, and you got Graeme McDowell there as well, Shane Lowry pushing on. I think look out for Boyle Sport. I think they could throw a few good offers up there. So let's take a quick look at what we fancy here, guys, for the field, last big major. Always a really good field. Steve, we'll give you first dibs. Who would you be fancying in Portrush?
Yeah, I'm after as much value as possible. Surprise, surprise. So I'm going to go for a couple of, slightly outsiders. One definite, but I'm going to go for Spieth each way. Currently at 30-1 at Sky Bet, and whilst I'm there, I think I'll also have a little touch on Phil Mickelson at 100-1, just for old time's sake. You never know, he might manage to pull out some old form out of the bag.
He does like the links, that's for sure. And So a few of your pennies, Steve. That means Phil will be probably at 50-1 after you've had a little dabble on him. Phil, who do you think's going to grab the claret jug?
I fancy McIlroy for it this year. He is the favourite, but he's coming in with good form. But I always like to back Molinari because I think he's always a good shot and his odds are always pretty decent. You can get 22 on him at the moment.
And obviously, Francesco is the defending champion. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, I picked him last year, I believe.
You did, so you're keeping him with him. For me, I really like look at John Rahm. He's got cracking form in Ireland. He loves playing up there. He won the Irish Open last week, and so he will be getting my money. I think Ricky Fowler as well. He really is due. He's in great form, and he loves playing the links. And he's playing the Scottish Open this week, so he's already come over trying to get adapted to the weather. But as we say, guys, there's going to be more and more offers come online. Keep an eye on the daily offers calendar. Keep an eye on the forum. Steve and the guys will be around updating that all the time. So please keep an eye on that. And obviously, we've got quite a lot going on this weekend. The British Grand Prix at Silverstone is going on. We'll have a quick look at that. Although, again, Steve, disappointed for a sport the size of F1, the bookies don't really give us a lot when it comes to F1, do they? Even though we've got a British world champion and stuff, it's surprisingly poor, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to see, well, a lot more free bets associated with Formula One racing, but unfortunately, it just doesn't tend to throw up too many. I mean, I've had a.
Do you think it's because of the predictability, Steve? Do you think it's because that's what happened? And obviously, Lewis Hamilton wins 9 out of 10 races. Do you think that's a bit behind it?
Potentially. It'd also be interesting to see what the level of interest is. I'm sure if more people were betting on it, that they'd have more offers, but also perhaps having more offers would get more people betting. It's a bit of chicken and egg situation. But there's not really anything around of note at the minute. There might be some last minute free bet offers that crop up perhaps on Saturday morning, sort of pre-qualifying or after qualifying when the race is about to begin. But that will just be your sort of a bog standard, bet 10, potentially get 5. I think something of that ilk. But nothing to sort of hang a hat on at the minute.
Yeah, even looking at his odds, Phil, as well, he's rated like 4 to 5, and even each way terms, they're not even offering top 3 on the Grand Prix, which I think probably says a lot there. Do any of us think that Lewis Hamilton isn't going to win this, which would be a record 7th British GP win, Phil? Think anyone other than Hamilton is going to win?
No, I can't see anyone past Hamilton, not unless he has some kind of major malfunction with his car. But
it does suggest his value elsewhere, doesn't it? Because he's so short odds. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, but the race, but he's that short.
He's pretty formidable, isn't he? Okay, he does, as we said there.
The competition seems to be falling away. I think like Vettel and stuff just the
this season they thought it was going to be a lot more open, and it really hasn't panned out in that way. So yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? But I just don't think it's got the interest. As I mentioned, then away from British GP, we've also got Wimbledon this weekend. The finals are coming. We've got some cracking semi-finals. Nadal Federer coming up, which could be one of the sporting highlights of the whole summer. Obviously, we spoke about this before, didn't we, Phil? On our last one with them, and we were pleased to see, Phil, as we mentioned on the last show, a few more offers coming up, including Bet365 brought the 2 up back.
Yeah, they brought that back, and it has paid off a couple of times. It hasn't been as good as maybe previous years. I think there's been a lot of frustration with people doing the offer, but it has paid out a few times. It's definitely one worth sticking with for the semi-finals because, especially Federer and Nadal, I think there could be a big swing in that game. But there has been a few other offers. We're hoping there's going to be some more announced today with the semi-finals starting today, so we'll see.
Yeah, and is that Serena? And you raised that Serena bet, didn't you? Where you get your money back if she wins, and she's still going strong. So, Steve, have you haven't been dallying too much in Wimbledon this year? Hasn't really piqued the interest, but is it still? Have you seen any offers or?
Yeah, I mean the 2-up's been sort of one of the main ones really. Also, the Foil Sports one has been quite good. Whereas you've been able to get sort of double winnings as a free bet if your player lost the first set and then went on to win the match. So that one sort of occurred more than the two up as I think so far. For example, Federer yesterday, he lost the first set and went on to win the match. So that's where that type of situation that would have kicked in. So that's been probably one of the main ones to keep an eye on for me.
Yeah, that's it. It's the office calendar's there. Still the semi-finals to go, so still a couple more matches to go with that. So keep an eye on that one. It should be getting interesting. And we've also got the Cricket World Cup still going on. England is still in there. Amazingly, the favourites to win the World Cup. But I think the bookmakers are going a bit mad at the minute. But again, guys, we've discussed previously. Phil, there's been a few offers come up on the cricket, hasn't it? They paid off as well, like David Warner. Remind us that offer again. What the Warner one was, Phil? Was it 50 and over? You get paid out.
Yeah, so you needed to back and any other player, like choose a top batsman for the match, and I don't even think it had to lose. But if David Warner scored over 50, you would get a free bet, and he's scored over 50, 5 or 6 times?
Yeah, it was definitely like over 2/3 strike rate, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it's on. It probably is, but I'm not sure whether it's on today for the semi-final. Do you know if that's on today, Steve?
I'm just having a quick swifty. I think it hopefully will be.
I think it will be, yeah, but I haven't seen it yet.
Again, that'll be an interesting one. If England get to that final, and the interesting thing about Cricket World Cup, guys, is if England get to the final, Sky Sports are agreeing to show that final live on terrestrial. So that might generate a bit more interest as well.
Yeah, just to quickly interject there. Yeah, today it's Warner all route for the Australia-England match.
So that's a really cracking bet there. That's a really good offer. Really good offer. So yeah, so guys, I said the offer calendar's there. All the info you need is on site to check that out. And a quick one, yeah, I said we were mentioning the Netball World Cup. I know it's one of Steve's expert subjects. It's taking place starting Friday, over 10 days, over 50 matches in 9 days. So it's going to be here and gone before we know it. This is one that I know a bit more than you guys think about. It's really between England and Australia. I know you've had a quick look this morning, Steve, and you're going to betray your home roots and go Australia, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. My knowledge of this is close to zero, to be perfectly honest. I know Tracy Neville's the coach, and she's done a great job because I've seen sound bites in the news over the past few years, so I have to commend her for that. And hopefully England can win. However, after having a quick read through of previous tournament forms, there doesn't seem to be any getting away from Australia. I believe they've reached the final. Is that right, Graeme? Every other final that's ever happened.
Yeah.
And they are favourites, and obviously for a reason.
Yeah, so let's hope she does better than her twin brother Phil, who again, like Mr. Southgate, failed miserably at the semi-final stage of the World Cup. And yeah, Phil, obviously there isn't any offers on for this at the moment, but again, this is on BBC. It's going to garner a lot of interest as get going. It's one to keep an eye on the daily offer calendar. If there is any offers do come up, we will put it on the daily offer calendar, won't we?
Yeah, they'll be on there, but I very much doubt there will be. Not for netball. I can't see it, but like you said,
I don't know. I think Sky Bet sponsor. Sky Bet going to sponsor it. I think they're pushing it. I'll keep an eye on that. We never know. They might catch the imagination, and we'll see. They might do. Hopefully, Bet365 will catch on and do something like 10 points up and pay out. But you never know. We'll get behind the red roses anyway and see what comes back. But we'll look back at that again in the next edition. See if anything did come up of that. We will be joining you again later in the month. We'll be looking at the Ashes, and the football season is going to be here before we know it, guys. When is it? It's less than a month away until the Premier League season kicks off. So obviously, me and Phil have got a little to look forward to for Middlesbrough Sunderland, but Steve will be delighted that the season gets underway, being a Manchester City fan. They're all popping up now, aren't they? So thanks for joining us again today on the podcast. Just to remind you again, we've got a great offer for all our listeners. You can get OddsMonkey Premium for just £1 for 10 days. A reminder of that code again. It's pod offer, PODOFFER. Just put that in and you get full access to all the offers, the guides, the forum, everything. Steve and the guys are there to help you out. So please do take a look. But thanks for joining us again, and we'll catch you next time.